Hi. If you are on, please let me know that you can see and hear me. We do apologize for the delay, but excited to jump back on for an opportunity to speak with Wendy Williams, Pastor Wendy Williams of the Transformation Church in Virginia. I am giving you all an opportunity just to let us know that you can hear and see. Oh, I see one person who has let me know. So we are not going to prolong. Please forgive my tardiness. I am going to bring Lady Wendy on so we can get this conversation started. Again, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure that you share, you like, and you most of all comment and talk to us on tonight. So, without any further delay, let me bring on Pastor Wendy. All righty. All right, Pastor. Hi. So
Hi.
this is um we were struggling a little bit, but we all right.
Thought it was
We
good.
are all right. We got on here, and that's all that matters. We got on here. I'm still playing around with my camera, moving stuff around. If y'all hear something, just don't worry about it.
It's good.
Don't worry about it. So I want to just jump right in and have you to something that a lot of times we don't get an opportunity to do. We do it for our husbands, but we don't do it for us. For you to introduce yourself, tell us who you are.
Okay, so my name is Wendy Whittaker. I am a mother of three. My oldest is 7. So I have 3 little kids. I actually just had my son last year. So I just had a brand new baby, and then my middle child is 4. So my life is super super busy. Me and my husband, of course, pastor a church called Transformation Church Virginia, and that's located in the city of Norfolk, Virginia. We've been pastoring for about 7 years now, and I graduated from Norfolk State University with a bachelor's degree in social work. So I have been in the mental health field, wow, I would say at least 7 or 8 years now, more so working with children. I've been a clinician for that long. And around, I would say maybe year 2022, I kind of stepped back from that, and I've been doing more work alongside with my husband at the church. So I am over the music department at my church. So I'm all things music, trying to tap into a little bit more of the preaching and the teaching side. Here more recently, I was ordained a co-pastor at my church this year. So that was something new for me.
Yes, yes.
Even though I've pretty much been kind of pastoring anyway for the past 7 years, but
Right.
nevertheless, now walking with the actual title of that. So I have embraced that part of me, and yeah, easygoing person, super warm, welcoming personality. I pretty much could talk to anybody. And I guess because by profession I am a counselor, so I like listening to people's problems, and I just love people. I love kids. Again, I love music. I sing too. I love movies. Thought I wanted to be an actress child when I was uh,
Okay.
much much younger. I tried. I did go to school for it for a little while, and then I switched that to musical theater because I still wanted to do some form of acting. And then I just gave all of that up, and I was like, "Look, I'm just going to do something that's going to get me a job." And so I was like, "Well, I like people," so that's how I ended up getting into social work, and then I graduated with that degree, and then I've pretty much been doing that ever since. So that's me. And then I'm an author too, so I wrote a book for the first time ever. Um,
Yes, for the author. By the way, I have mine right here. Oh, look,
oh
that's
wow.
mine. Yes, I'm so excited to be able to say that um, that I know of a couple of you all now,
Yep.
authors, even in Voice for Her. There are a couple of you floating around. I'm just excited to be able to say I know y'all. But go ahead, go ahead. We're gonna jump into the book. But go ahead and with your introduction, unless you were finished with your
Oh
introduction.
no, I was done. That's it about me. I'm good. I'm good.
Gotcha, gotcha. So you are you said you're a counselor and you work with children.
Yes.
In addition to working with children, you do ministry, technically full time, because there's no such thing as part time.
We
So
don't have.
how in the world do you juggle being in ministry, marriage, motherhood, being an author, and a career woman all together?
I don't know. No. It is it's a lot. I think what has helped me, I would say throughout the years, and it took some years, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
I think when I first started off, well, when me and my husband first started the church, I was pregnant. Okay. So it
Mm.
already started like with chaos because it just was a lot. And we started from the ground up. Me and my husband weren't under a bigger church network. We
Mm.
didn't have, donations, and, we didn't
Yeah.
have a lot of support.
Yeah.
Because we knew the direction in which God was taking us, we just wanted to be, first of all, non-denominational. And neither one of us came from a non-denominational background. Um, and so we started everything from the dirt. I mean, literally the dirt, ground up,
Yeah.
which required a lot of me. It was just me and him and a handful of, volunteers that believed in our vision and, what God has showed us to do for this area. But yeah, it was rough. I think what has helped me throughout the years is open communication with my husband. Of course, we had to really get a rhythm of things because being married to pastors, bless their hearts, they are visionaries. They think big. They want
Yeah.
everything to happen right now. um, and they want you to work and do your part,
Yeah.
and not complain and don't cry and don't be emotional. Their men are naturally, they're builders. They're tough, right? They
Yeah.
provide solutions to problems. And pastors love people, so
Mhm.
they really put all their life into ministry, and I think as women we kind of give the balance of that. We kind of
Yeah.
say, hey, let's slow down, let's think about this, let's consider we have kids or we have our marriage.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for us it started off kind of a mess because he was very zealous and excited and passionate, and I was pregnant.
Mhm. Yeah.
Is what it is. So
Yeah.
we had to really over communicate. That took a lot of marital counseling.
Mhm.
We had a very good couple that really helped us just
Mhm.
kind of get a rhythm of things, how to communicate things to each other, because it was like we were raising two babies, like two
Yeah.
brand new babies, really. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that helped, and we just kind of learned what worked for us, what didn't work for us. We created a culture within our family. Like Mondays were our family days. We would do no ministry. If somebody called, they had to be like about to, it had to be really bad
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
get to us. Yeah. So we set that culture where the church knew that was our day.
Mhm.
We made that a family day. And we just really learned how to communicate to each other our expectations, our needs, how we were going to balance family and ministry.
Yeah.
Then baby number two came, and we were like, "Oh my God, this is like a circus. This is a lot." And and yet
Not
I
a
still,
circus.
uh huh, yeah, because they're only 2 years apart. Yeah, almost exactly 2 years apart. So it was like as soon as we got used to, my daughter, and we're like, okay, cool. We can grab the diaper bag, grab some snacks, and we can
Yeah.
go. We go to church, go Bible study. But then, man, when Malaya came, it was like, wow, okay, you got to have one, and I got to have one at the same time.
Mhm.
So then we had to really, really be intentional about schedules. We had
Yeah.
to be intentional about, again, communication. We had to be intentional about how we were going to make sure that we were putting our family first and not ministry first. Because a lot
Oh,
of times
good.
yeah, we tend to do that.
Mhm.
I don't think always intentionally, just kind of
True.
happen. When you're trying to build something, it requires a lot of your time. It requires a lot of blood, sweat, tears, prayers. It just takes a lot out of you. And, I was still working full time. And by the second baby, my husband was, I would say, still kind of part time. So we kind of flip flop. He was, we were making really good money when we got married. But then when we started the church, he went part time and I was full time. So it's kind of like I was the breadwinner, working full time and helping him with the ministry, it was exhausting. And then raising a brand new child. And then when he became full time with the church, after my second was born, I would say maybe a year later, then I was kind of able to breathe and say, okay, well, but part time, so we
Yeah.
gave and took, and we talked through those things, and it wasn't easy, but I think that's those three things, man. It was just communication, balance, and having wise counsel around
Yeah.
us
Yeah.
really has helped me balance all of that.
Yeah, it's definitely important who we have around us, who we have in our ears
Right.
as leaders. So I want to pause for a second since we are talking about balance to say hello to Pastor Whittaker, also my husband Pastor Koger, and thank y'all so much for lending us out, taking time away
Absolutely.
from you guys in order for us to have this conversation. So
Mhm.
thank you, Pastor Whitaker. Thank you, Pastor Koger. Thanks, Wade.
Yeah.
And our one of our Voice for Her sisters are on with us. Lady Vance is here. She is the first lady in Mount Airy. And so it's always good to see one of our sisters. It's always good to see our hearts. See the
Absolutely.
green hearts pop up. And so in speaking of our sisterhood with Voice for Her, so I want to get into your journey as a first lady. And so you shared with us about you all starting from the ground up. Definitely have been there. We founded a church as well, and then ended up merging two churches, an established church and the church my husband founded.
Oh, wow.
And so you all have been pastoring how long?
7 years now.
7 years. Gotcha. 7 years. And in the looking back 7 years, what would you tell First Lady Whitaker now? Tell First Lady Whitaker then. Something that no, how do I want to say? What would you tell First Lady Whitaker 7 years ago? That's what I want to say. 7 years ago.
Run. No.
Ah,
I'm silly, y'all.
right.
I'm sorry. I don't know what it would be.
That's it.
That's a really good question. I
Mhm.
think I would tell her everything that you're about to go through will be worth it in the end. It's all gonna make sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So worth it. So worth it. And there's good counsel. That's good counsel even to yourself. It's worth it. Hang in there, girl.
Listen, it's for the Lord. It's for His glory here.
It is. It is. It is.
Yeah.
So in this journey, did you start out with a like an inspiration, a mentor, or even your own first lady?
No,
No.
I did not. And I mean, sad to say, but I didn't.
Mhm.
When we launched our church, well, before we were at a previous church, and we were under a pastor and first lady, and they were amazing. We were very close to them. Two of the greatest examples you can have of a good pastor, good, healthy
Mhm.
pastor and pastor's wife. Um, they actually ended up transitioning out of the church as senior leaders to another church. Yeah.
Mhm.
So when that happened, we, well, I would say a little bit before, the Lord had told Jeff that he was called to start a church. So we
Mm-hmm.
had the conversation with them, and they gave us our blessing, and they were just like, okay, well, we're transitioning out too. So it was really interesting. It was like two, and my husband was the youth pastor at that same
Mm-hmm.
church. So it was like the senior leader had transitioned out, and then the youth pastor is now transitioning out to start his own church. So I really didn't have I really didn't have mentorship per se. I mean, there were a
Mm-hmm.
lot of great things that I did take from her. My previous pastor's wife, she had a lot of great family values. She was an amazing person,
Mm-hmm.
huge heart, and she loved people too. So I think as far as mentorship though, I've actually honestly never had mentorship.
Okay.
That's actually, to be transparent, that is something that I have been praying to God about, really for the past year or so. Just really being intentional about knowing who I would want to be mentored by, because
Yeah.
you just have to be so very careful. And I just haven't, I don't know, I just, that connection has not been made yet for me.
Mhm.
But I do desire it, and I am praying that the Lord leads me in the right direction when it comes to mentorship. But unfortunately, no.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha. And that's one of those things that I believe that when the season is right, you'll have
yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Yeah, because sometimes it's good to have that time where God just literally can do all of His grooming.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
sometimes we have somebody else's voice in too soon.
Talk about it.
We have it too soon, or we may start out with somebody, and then towards the middle, God is like, okay, all
Yeah.
right, that's enough. It's all me now. And so I totally understand that there are a lot of even mentorships that I have seen out there. So I'm hoping that you'll get your heart's desire, and your prayers will be answered.
I appreciate it.
Um, so let's talk about, I saw, and we're getting ready to jump into the book right after this one, but I saw on Facebook, I didn't pull any pictures or anything because
Oh, Lord.
I always want to make sure that safe spaces remain safe spaces.
Yeah.
So tell me about your safe space event.
Yes. So, yeah, my face just lit up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so God had put in my heart, similar to what you're doing here, which I think is
Mhm.
always thought ever since I've joined this community. But here in Virginia, God placed on my heart, after I wrote my book, actually. I thought that was it. And I was like, oh, I wrote a book. Praise God. I was obedient. Lord told me to write it. And then soon after, God was like, so yeah, I want you to gather my women. I want you to
Mhm.
gather pastors' wives. And I was like, okay. I was
Yeah.
like, so how do I do this? So I just prayed into it. And I just leaped out and did it. I didn't realize how many pastors' wives I actually knew. I
Mhm.
was like, man, I actually know quite a few, and so it was super simple. I prayed about, who the Lord was leading me to actually reach out to. And I didn't reach out to many, maybe 13 or 14 pastors' wives that I knew in the area,
Mhm.
that I had maybe just saw on Facebook. My husband more so knew their husband. I
Yeah.
really didn't have a relationship with any of them personally, maybe like two or three. But other than that, all the rest of them I really didn't really know that well. And so I was like, yeah, let me reach out to them. And I was nervous. I was like, I wonder would they even want to come? Like, are they gonna think I'm a weirdo? I don't know. You think about things like that, you're like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
no, as soon as I had a nice flyer made, I had it all set
Mhm.
up, I had it planned out. God had literally like showed me like different things to do to
Yeah.
bring about, open-ended questions and food and just having a good time. And that's what I wanted. Like
Yeah.
I saw like the Lord was showing me these women need a space
Mhm.
to be themselves, to let their hair down, to talk about the things that they feel they can't talk about with their husbands, that they can't talk about with any women at their church.
Yeah.
Some pastors' wives don't talk to other pastors' wives at all,
Yeah.
so and that's not good, and in my area, I don't see any pastors' wives doing this. I'm pretty sure they do. I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
have not, so I was like, man, okay. And I did it. I reached out to them and they were all like so excited. They were like, oh my God, yes, please. This is amazing. The answer prayer. Like they were just so hyped. And I had it at my home. And so there's a beautiful woman at my church. She's a sweetheart. She is a chef and she is amazing. Like she can cook. She's real good.
Okay.
Has great company, her and her husband, and they are just flourishing and just amazing. So I called and I was like, oh my God, I need you to cater this event I'm doing. And she was like, of course, Pastor Wendy, I'll do it for you. So they set up this beautiful setup. And I had the ladies, it was kind of like a brunch theme. We did fuzzy socks. And I said, come comfortable, bring your cute little fuzzy socks, and don't come dressed up, but we're gonna come, we're gonna laugh, we're gonna have a good time, we're gonna eat good, and we're just gonna
Yeah.
talk it out and we're gonna chat. And when I tell you, it was one of the most amazing experiences, even for me. And I hosted it. Like
Yeah.
it was great. I was even able to just share my experiences, to laugh about things that, that it was almost like we just connected in so many ways. We all could relate to each other when it came to marriage, when it came to communication, when it came to people, women in your church, personal issues, things that trigger you. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was just great, but we had a good time. We played games and, we did this activity where we answered open-ended questions, and everybody was just like, girl, let me tell you, like, it was just such a good time. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And you just got to hear their concerns. You got to hear, how isolated some of them felt. I mean, it was just amazing. And we left feeling like we were heard. We left feeling seen. We felt connected to one another. Some of them exchanged numbers, and now we're just like forever connected.
Yeah.
Um, and they're like, so what are we doing next? Like, what are we gonna do next? So it's almost like now I have started a space. I have literally created, and they were so thankful. They were like, man, like Wendy, this was so what I need. I need this. I have to have this in my life. And I even realized how much I needed it,
Yeah.
you know. So it was just great. It was a great thing. So
I
that's what
love
I am doing now. I have created this thing called our safe space. And so I have like this chat community as well that's connected to that. And we have an announcement space. So if any woman is doing any event, we support each other. I put their flyers up there and we just talk about life and it's such a safe place to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Nobody, women can be messy. We can be a little catty, gossipy, but
Yeah.
it's nothing like that, and
Right.
I have always been leery of women's spaces because of that alone, because we're
Mhm.
so emotional and, but it just didn't call for that. Everybody was so empowering and encouraging. A woman prophesied to another woman, some women were crying and we were just
Mhm.
encouraging them. And it was some deep stuff. It was
Yeah.
real issues that we all face,
Yeah.
that like the language was so universal for all of us. And it was really life changing. So, God is just leading me in, strategic ways on how to gather these women, periodically throughout the year. And
Mhm.
that's what I am doing. So that's what that was. And it was
I
great.
love it. I love that you were able to branch off a space for pastors' wives, especially as a almost like a spinoff of Dear Pastors' Wives.
Yeah, that's kind of,
So
yeah. Yep.
I love it. I love it. So I'm gonna put this plug out there for any first ladies in Virginia. What's the county? What's the county or city that you all are around?
We're kind of everywhere. Now I'm in Suffolk, Virginia. Um, Quite a few women that came that night were in Suffolk as well. But we're all over the place. I would say some were from Norfolk. Some were further up Virginia, like Smithfield. Um, Another few ladies, I want to say that I think some of them were Chesapeake. But yeah, around those surrounding areas, like the
What?
seven cities is what we call it. Yeah, like Hampton Roads
Gotcha.
area. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, if you are a first lady in the Virginia area, please
Mm-hmm.
hit up
Ah,
Pastor Lady for for our safe space. I am excited about what you have birthed. I want to get into this book and the inspiration behind it.
So my inspiration behind Dear Pastor's Wife was simply I felt this need to connect and let other pastors' wives know, I guess in my own unique way, that you're not alone, that how you feel is legit,
Yep.
that it's okay to embrace your humanity. My devotional, of course, it's scripturally based, but it's very transparent. It's very real.
Mhm.
It touches a lot of your humanity. You know, the things that we don't really necessarily want to confront, the things that we don't really want to talk about.
Mhm.
Um, Especially when it comes to marriage and how you really manage marriage and ministry, which is
Yeah.
a big thing. And still having to be supportive of your husband and embracing who you are. For a long time I didn't know what my purpose was. When me and my husband first started ministry, it was all about my husband. I mean, really, I was just kind of there rooting him on.
Yeah.
I was working full time as a social worker, clinician. So it was like, I really didn't know what my God given purpose was. I
Yeah.
knew I was prophetic. I knew I could sing. I did that my whole life, I knew things about me, but I didn't know what it was specifically that God had purpose for me to do. And
Yeah.
so I, at a crossroads, it was just kind of like, man, like God, well, I want to walk in purpose too, and I do believe that it is a part of our ministry, our church. But
Mhm.
outside of that, who is Wendy? You know,
Yes.
and yeah, and I really, God had to really deal with me in regards to that.
Mhm.
And I think at some point I was kind of nervous
Yeah.
about really finding out like who's Wendy. It's like because I've always been the person that is in the background. I've always supported everybody else. I've always pushed everybody else's destiny. I've always watched everyone walk into these great callings and great things that God, purposed for them to do. But at some point, I kind of felt like, man, like, so what am I going to do? And
Mhm.
so it's just those different things, my experiences and the things that God and I have journeyed through, as a woman, as an individual, and being married to a pastor. I was like, look, I want to give language for this
Yeah.
because, nobody gave language to me. Like I told you, I didn't have a pastor's wife mentor that said, hey, do this and do that. And make sure you don't do that. And make sure you like this. I didn't know. I
Right.
had nothing, and a lot of us don't. We really don't,
Right.
and
And
I found
sometimes
that.
you don't need that either because you telling me don't do this or do this, sit this way, don't do that. I'm gonna end
So
up looking
true.
like you. I'm not gonna be
So,
me.
so true. And right. So it's
I gotta
kind of
be
like,
me.
man, yeah, it was a blessing to really,
Mhm.
because it was like I had to learn my own way, and I had to be my own template.
Right.
And so, yeah, did I do everything perfect? Of course not. Nobody's gonna do anything perfect, but it really caused me to kind of take an introspective look in a lot of areas of my life. And I talk about this in my devotional that, in order for us to lead other people, to love on other people, to pastor other people, to support our husband in pastoring other people, we have to be aware of what's going on in us internally. When it comes to whether it's pride, whether it's, trauma we have not addressed, or, things we may not have confronted. Those things come out in ministry if they're not dealt
Absolutely.
with. Yeah, if we
Absolutely.
don't. Yeah, then that's a real thing. And I grew up with witnessing pastors' wives being very quiet,
Mhm.
mean, bitter, standoffish.
That's it.
They were a piece of work, and I
Yeah.
shied away from them. I had never had a relationship with a pastor's wife ever until we were at our previous pastor and pastor's wife, the church that we transitioned out of. But
Mhm.
other than that, I had never seen a loving, warm, welcoming pastor's wife. So yeah, my husband came to me and said, we're gonna start a church. I was like, okay, but I don't know how to be a pastor's wife. Like, what do I do? You know,
Like,
so
what you want me to do?
right, so I just felt that there was this pull, that there was this need for pastors' wives wherever, if my book ever got around the world or just here, I don't know, wherever, that they needed to hear that how you feel is okay.
Yeah.
Being angry is okay. Not getting it right is okay.
Hmm.
And just giving language and, giving my experience and giving wisdom that God has given me, about this journey in ministry. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, one of the things, and I'm trying to find because I have shared quite a few of um, even your posts, because
Yeah. I
you
appreciate
not only do you have the book, Dear Pastor's Wife, but you have been dropping your Dear Pastor's Wife pieces on social media, and often I share. Oh, here it is. I found. Thank you. Woo, okay, because it was a video, and um it was a video that you posted. This was back in November, and I was like, wow, this is perfect. And I shared it with the ladies, and I said, just in case you didn't know that your husband needs you. This is what you were telling us. Your husband needs you. You are valued, you are loved, you are seen, and you are needed. Your husband could not do this without you. Your children could not thrive without you. Your church needs your presence. Don't allow people's opinions or oh Lord, something make you believe that you're not enough, because you are. And I shared it with the ladies, and I'm like, y'all just remember this. Like, this is one pastor's wife to another saying, no matter what happens, you are enough.
Yeah.
From a wife to another wife, from a mother to a mother, you are enough. One of our, just as I see them pop in, I want to make sure that I say hello to them. Lady Israel is another voice for her sister who has jumped on to say hello to
Oh,
us.
okay.
So happy to see you on. Um, but yes, just getting nuggets like that from you, whether it's throughout the week or I may see it, throughout the month. I try to share it because I'm like, these are good nuggets to have, and reminders at that.
Yeah.
And reminders. Because this journey, it gets a little rough on the people. But we still here tracking. We are
Listen,
tracking.
still here.
Yes. Like, for real, we are here. And I think at this point, if we were gonna use good language, if we were gonna chicken out, then we would have chickened out by now. But we're
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
We're
For sure.
not. We are made for it. So
Yeah.
in your devotional, of course, it's 21 days. Do you have a favorite day, or is there one of the days that is special for you, like it stands out more than the other days?
Hmm. And I should have had my book in front of me. I will say it was one chapter in my book where I talk about um insecurities and inferiority. Um, and I believe that's the day. Am I like? I should know my book, but yes,
Oh
that's
no, you're good. It is day 13.
okay.
Day 13. It's insecurity and inferiority affect identity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know if most women who read my book shy away from that because people really don't want to read about having to actually address their own issues. But I just think for me that was so life changing.
Yeah.
It was so necessary for me to just really allow God to show me what my issues were, allow God to show me why, I struggled in my identity. And like I was saying, if you're any kind of leader of anything, you know, being aware of what's going on internally, being aware of your heart, the condition of your heart, how you think about things,
Mhm.
those things really matter because it does impact how you treat people. It does affect how people see you, because it matters how you see yourself, And for me, and I talk about this, I struggled with low self esteem. I struggled with not thinking I was good enough. I struggled with devaluing myself. And that came from, childhood trauma and, things that I experienced and things that I needed growing up that I didn't get, from family or, having people around me. But, other than, being delivered and set free from a lot of those things, it still took a process. It still took me journeying through counseling, through just being able to be honest and be vulnerable about my own issues. We, for a living, are helping other people through their issues. I mean, like we're shepherding people's souls and we're helping other people, but it's so important to know who we are. And that's one of my favorite days because, again, as pastors' wives, we are put on a pedestal, unfortunately. And
Mhm.
in a sense, rightfully so. I mean, we're leaders, we
Yeah.
are we are an example to a lot
Yeah.
of people,
Yeah.
particularly women. And so, I've always asked the Lord to help me. I told God, I don't want to become the bitter, angry pastor's wife. People don't deserve that. They don't know how hard this is, but at the same
Mhm.
time, they don't deserve to be mistreated or forgotten or overlooked or, I can't take my journey out on other people.
That's
So
right.
I am always asking the Lord, just like David said, Lord, give me a clean heart, create me the right spirit. Like, help me, to think the way that you think. Help me to take on your
Mhm.
nature, Father. I don't want to mistreat the people because I'm mad at my husband. So help me, Lord. I don't want to be mad at the people because he's lacking balance or, whatever it
Yeah.
be. We just got in an argument. I can't go to church, my face ate up, and I can't go in and not speak to people. So it takes so much maturity and it
Yes.
takes a lot of prayer and it takes you remembering that it's not about you, it's about the people, but in the same token, being able to just really allow God to do that inner work because that's a big part of what you do. I want to be authentic. I've never wanted to be, the pastor's wife that I'm putting on a mask for people, but then when I get home, me and my husband beating each other up, cussing each other out. I don't like
Yeah.
him every other week. I mean, God's not pleased with that,
That's
and
right.
it shows. Eventually, it's going to come to surface, and the point of that day is like, look, ladies, we have to do the inner work. We got to be able to see, the things that we have to grow in, the things we have to work on, and allow God to continue to do that because that's perpetual and that never really stops. We're not
It is.
perfect. We have flaws. We have things that we're trying to overcome. And so yeah, that's my favorite day. It's the inner work, man. Yeah. So
Well, I want to say you hit some nuggets, so I don't want to forget the nuggets. Plus, we have another one of our ladies who has jumped on, Lady Amberly. I'm
oh,
excited that she came out of hiding. She do not do social media.
I'm so glad to
So
hear. I
Lady
get it.
Amberly is the one who does our prayer. And so I'm excited that she came out of hiding to jump on
Come
with
out of
us.
hiding. Come on.
Exactly. So we are doing all of our good hearts tonight to our sisters. Um, as you all know, again, oh yes, she said I'd be on YouTube though. Okay. If you have not gotten the book, again, we are discussing Dear Pastor's Wife by um, Wendy Whittaker, who she is not only the author, she is also the co-pastor of the Transformation Church in Suffolk, Virginia. She is also the new founder of Our Space, Pastors' Wives group in Virginia. It's the 7 cities, right?
Yes. Yes.
Of the 7 cities. I'm so excited. Yes, you do need this book, Lady Amberly. You can get this book on. Look at me trying. I'm trying, y'all. You can get the book on On Amazon. That's where I got mine, and it's actually a couple of us who grabbed the book. I said we probably need to do a book club
Let's
um
do it.
invoice
Let's
for
do it.
her, because it's
Let's
like
do-
I think it's three. Well, I got all three of the books. If it's
Yeah,
somebody else's got, and I don't have theirs, but I got three of y'all books that
let's
I'm
do it.
doing right now. Um, and so, oh, Lady Baker just jumped. Y'all are warming my heart tonight. Lady Baker is from Arkansas. Hey. And then Lady Israel says she here for the book club.
I
I
am
want
too.
y'all to go ahead and start this book club. We can do it in the group. And we can have discussions. And I mean, you got the author right here. And so I want to go back to something that you were saying that is so true and is so important for us. And this is something that, which was saying when you're upset with the people that you're taking it out on. No, you're upset with your husband and you're taking it out on the people. How important that is to make sure you're channeling your anger to the right person. I was the opposite. I didn't take my frustration out on the people because he was protecting them. He was
Oh,
like,
bless his heart. That's what they do, though.
oh my God.
I'm telling you.
I couldn't say nothing to the people, but he caught it at home.
I
My
love
poor
it.
husband. I'm just so glad he's still here with me.
Listen.
I'm so glad he's still here. I was like, at one point, I was like, bruh, somebody gonna catch this attitude. Somebody gonna catch this good, clean, silent treatment. I
Mhm.
guess it's gonna be you because you don't want me to give it to the people.
Listen, yeah, my husband protects them too. Sometimes
Yeah,
he and I just no let
yeah.
loose. But yeah,
Exactly.
it's our love. Yeah, sometimes it's
It
necessary.
is.
You gotta do a little letting loose sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
It's so good to see him laugh at it now. He wasn't laughing then.
Right.
He wasn't laughing then, poor baby.
Bless her, I
I love you.
know.
He is really in here laughing.
That is
But learning how to even channel, thank you. I learning how to channel that and making sure that you don't bleed on the people
yeah.
was a very important lesson I had to learn, and it took time to learn it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But I just had a memory today that came up from August 18th, 2021, that says, this was from one of his Bible studies.
Mhm.
As a leader, you can't let your wounds bleed out on the people.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I saw it today, and I was just like, God, I thank you for Facebook memories, because it lets me see how far
Yeah.
I've grown.
Absolutely.
I'm the one now to be hollering, don't be projecting your bad energy out on these people.
Mm-hmm.
When 10
Yeah.
years ago, it was me that he was saying, you can't do that. You
Yeah.
can't say that. And I was saying,
Yeah.
keep on protecting the people. You're going to be going to live with them people too.
It, listen, I tell my husband all the time, I say, if some woman in this church think they can manage and deal with you, tell them, come on. They'll be out in 24 hours. They're gonna say, yeah, Pastor Man, you can have him. I'll give him back. Because
That's
he's a
it.
lot. He's a
That
lot.
is it. That is it. That is it. I said my mother-in-law, who was the former first lady,
Yeah.
she can deal with it because she done had it already. But I don't know nobody else at the church that
No.
could, including my mama. And she been a minister's wife for 40 plus years. And she said, that's why I know your daddy ain't called a pastor.
Oh,
I told her, I said, if daddy had a church, you tear that joker up.
oh, yeah. And I think about my mom. Yeah, she wouldn't be ready. No,
Yeah.
definitely not.
No. It is good to see the ladies. They are in the comment. I wish you could see the
I
comments.
know. I'm kind of seeing them as they come on the screen, but I can't see them like flow. But yeah, that's fine.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, they are laughing, but they are in agreement. For
Yes.
real. They said they over here hollering. Holler, y'all. Y'all, I know y'all pray for me. I
Listen,
know
because they
y'all did.
know.
Somebody had to pray for us. We pray for each other.
Yes, we hold each other up. Listen.
Yes, yes. Um, so we are coming towards our close, but before we come to our close, I want to ask you, um, what's next?
Mm.
Just period. Whether it's the book, the group, you, just what's next for Wendy?
So for me, it's definitely creating more for pastors' wives. Um, I definitely see a lot of great things that is going to come about this community. I definitely see a conference in the future. I definitely see just that community growing.
Yeah.
The more I put into it, and more we gather. I do also want to write another book. Um, so I was gonna say this, but I also have a private Facebook group called Dreamer Circle. So I mentioned earlier that I am a prophetic person and I'm a dreamer. So years ago, the Lord put on my heart to create this. It's a private group, but to put this group, a community of people who want to learn how to interpret their dreams, and just kind of understand how God speaks to them through dreams. And so I've been studying things like that for, oh my gosh, at least 15 years.
Wow.
And as I have grown in that, the Lord just kind of called me out to kind of help those around me grow in dream interpretation. And so, Dreamer here, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have sat under some amazing, powerful ministers who are expertise in this. They're seasoned. They've been doing this for so long. And the Lord just called me. And again, I'm not trying to get a platform from it. I'm not big on titles, but it is a group that I've created. And I just want to help people. I'm actually doing a 6-week course right now online called Empowering Your Dreams. And I actually wrote a curriculum for dream interpretation. I did. I'm so like humble and private. I have to stop. My husband's
Yeah,
like, why do
I
you do that? I'm like,
feel
I
you.
don't know. But yeah. And yes, that's actually another line item under Wendy Whittaker Ministries. Um, that I sell, and I'm using that curriculum for my class that I'm doing right now. So that's another heartthrob for me. That's another passion, another gift that God has placed in me. And so I'm excited about that. So I am perpetually growing that community as well. So I'm kind of growing two communities at one time,
Mhm.
and it is a lot. But I'm pacing myself. I'm not, overdoing it because I'm also still growing 3 little kids
Yeah.
and the church. So that
Yes.
is, yeah, it,
I love
yeah,
it.
bless my heart. So it's that is really my next, embracing being an author,
Mhm.
because the Lord has put another book on my heart. And so I'm walking into that, into writing. I'm walking into doing full-time ministry with my husband, because that's always been a goal of ours, for him to be full-time and me be full-time.
Mhm.
So embracing more pastoring,
Yeah.
more teaching and preaching out. I actually have a speaking engagement next month that I'm excited about. So people are, I guess, seeing me kind of come out a little more. And so they're like, well,
Mhm.
can you come speak at my women's event? And I actually have 2 engagements actually. Um, so I'm excited. That is
Yeah.
more doing the things that God has purposed me to do. That is my next. I do want to go back to school and get
Mhm.
licensed, because I've always wanted to be a licensed counselor.
Mhm.
So I have to get my master's degree, but that is definitely in the future as well. Furthering my education and just following the will of the Lord for my life. I'm just in full obedience, and I have never been this way. I have always naturally been slowful, like, okay, Lord, maybe in a few years, but I
Yeah.
am just giving God a yes to everything He tells me to do, and that's my next. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Your yes has you full of necks.
Yeah.
For sure. It does. Your
Yeah.
yes has you full of necks.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for you. Um,
Thank you.
So, Lady Israel, well, I'm hopeful that you will drop your information in Voice for Her. I know that you're juggling,
Okay.
but we also need to see your stuff in Voice for Her. So let us know about the course. Never know who may have been even looking for something like that. So
Right.
make
I
sure you
know.
go and you share the
Got it.
group, you share the
Right.
curriculum,
Yeah.
so that anyone who's even interested on that end, definitely the conference. Please let me know.
Oh
Would
yes. I
love to
already had that.
collaborate with you on that.
Yes. I already
Um,
had that in mind. Now that's
yeah,
way future, but I already had that.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
For
I've been
sure.
in conversations and I'm like, okay, this
Yeah.
is gonna have to happen because
Mhm.
every so often one of the ladies is like, are we gonna get together? Are we gonna get together? And I'm saying,
Yeah. That definitely needs to happen.
okay.
I would love that. Yeah.
Yes, so we have uh Lady Cooper saying, so happy to see God's girls go forth in purpose. I don't know you, but I'm proud of you. Keep going. I
That
love it.
warms my heart
I
so good, man.
love us.
Lady Cooper, thank you. Oh, thank you. Yeah.
I just love us. And yeah, yeah, I just love us. I love all this support and all this love that we have. So, um, I try to keep everything at right at an hour, and we are doing amazing on
Yeah,
our time.
we are.
So, be sure that you, like I said, drop that information, and I'll even come back and add it to the um, added to the description in this video. So those that even come later will be able to find your group. They'll be able to register for your curriculum, and definitely stay tuned, you all, because this First Ladies Conference is happening. It's
Yeah,
gonna happen
that's
sooner
yeah.
than we think.
Ooh, we'll see.
Oh,
I also
look,
have an Instagram page too. I need to put my Instagram at that. All of that is on my website, but I'll type it in so you could go to it. But I'm trying to build that page up too. Um,
gotcha.
yeah,
We're gonna work. Lady Baker said we need a conference. Lady D, I know.
we do.
Y'all pray for me. I promise.
It's a lot of work. It's
It is, and
it's a lot.
me and my getting my nerves together to do
I know,
stuff,
right?
but I feel better when I'm not doing it by myself.
Yeah, you need a team. You gotta have a group of yeah. You gotta have a team because
Yeah,
it's a lot, but it's
yeah,
worth it though. Definitely worth it.
absolutely. Well, I just want to say again, thank you so much for jumping on with me
Uh,
tonight. Thank you again for your book. I am enjoying it. And again, I promise this is my last time being Vanna White tonight, guys. If you have not, I got to get my sides together too. If you have not ordered Dear Pastor's Wife by Wendy Whittaker off of Amazon, please do so. I'm sure you can hit her up too for it. And it's on the website.
right. So it's you
Yes.
do it on my website.
Mm-hmm.
It's at wendywministries.com.
Wendy W
wministries.com. Yeah. If you go straight there, it's a click of a button. And yeah. wendywministries.com. Yep.
Ministries.com. Thank you for saying that because I have just been talking about you, Amazon,
No, it's
Amazon. I
okay.
just
So
put it in there. Make sure y'all go on there and click on the link so you can get it and we can get this book club started. I am going to actually put Lady Israel on the spot and say, you want to go ahead and coordinate this group book club. And we can get started as soon as you get that coordinated for us. Oh, okay. Lady Cooper already went on Amazon. My bad, y'all. I
no,
think we
it's
were talking
fine.
about your book at the when we had the First Lady's Prayer last
Yeah.
month, and we were there with Lady Tamika Owen. She's another author, and a couple of us purchased books. Then I said, "Well, while y'all at it, make sure y'all get them." It's like, "Oh, okay, let's get
Oh,
that one too."
wow.
Let's get that one too. Oh, Lady Israel says she is going to coordinate this book club. Wonderful.
Let's go.
Please make sure you inbox me and we can get this on the calendar, get it going. Who knows? Maybe we can even have one of them in person. Find
Yeah.
somewhere between the Triad and Virginia, Lord, Lady Baker, and Arkansas. We're gonna figure out how all of us
Yeah. You might have
what's
to
gonna be the middle place,
middle
maybe
somewhere. Yeah.
Tennessee, maybe.
Yeah. That's so
Uh,
far from me, but I'm willing to travel. Look, anytime I get away from my children, I'm ready to get a
Oh,
break, ready to
baby,
breathe.
look.
I'll be here.
We'll make it worth your while. We'll make it worth your while. Um, well, I'm going to get ready to wrap up as a way of even last thoughts. I'm going to give my last thought is as you all can see, you can have it all. You can't have it all. She's an example, like so many of us, who is doing all of it. She has the career. She's an entrepreneur. Her spiritual gifts. She is currently just flourishing in it. Not only that, but she's a wife. She's a mom. She's a first lady. She's a pastor's wife. So we can't have it all. We can't do it all. We can't do it without prayer. So for my ladies that are on, even if you're not in a triad, we are doing in-person prayer again, June 1st at 10 a.m. It's going to be at Fellowship Church, which is Lady Amber Lee's church. So we are excited to come together in person to do prayer 1 hour, June 1st. I don't think I have it. Nope, I don't have it. It's okay. I don't think I have the information up, and I don't think I'm savvy enough to figure it out.
That's
So
good.
we're just gonna leave it alone. It's in the group. It's in the group, y'all. Lady Whittaker, I'm going to let you in by just giving whatever final words you want to give, and we'll sign off that way.
Okay. So I would just encourage my fellow peers with this, just to continue to be yourself, embrace who you are, embrace the uniqueness about you, and walk in your purpose. We're connected to ministry naturally because we're married to the pastor. And our lives, we sacrifice and give a lot of our lives to ministry, but don't forget about you. God has a purpose for you. God has a destiny for you. God has a lot of amazing things that He's called you to do. And don't get lost in it all. Don't get lost in the ministry, but embrace all the greatness that God has placed in you, and walk in your purpose. And the Lord will give you wisdom in how to balance that, and how to um, just be who God has called you to be. So, and pull on your community. Sisterhood is a big deal. Communities like this matter. We need them. If God has placed safe, wise, loving, healthy women around you, embrace them. We can't be afraid of relationships. We can't be afraid of mentorship. We can't be afraid to mentor. And, being women that naturally do ministry and then balance a lot of other different things. We need sisterhood, we need community. And so I would just encourage you to trust, be vulnerable, find those safe spaces as like this one, and just embrace all the great things that God has in store for you, because it's some great things that God wants to do in our lives. So that's what I would say tonight. So I'm ending